Hi there, I'm Dr. Joan Abatio and I'm here to talk about depression. The last time I was here, we learned how to differentiate grief from depression. Today I want us to know the signs of depression. You're probably thinking you still talked about the signs of depression last time. Well, a little bit. Depression is much more than that. Depression is not always about, the lows. Depression can actually be very surprising. So this is what I want us to learn today. Why am I still talking about depression? Well, depression is actually the leading cause of disability worldwide. Depression is the number one risk factor for suicide. So many mental illnesses can increase your risk for suicide. Yes, it's not that every time someone commits suicide they're depressed. No, that's not it. Someone could commit suicide because they have an entirely different mental illness, but depression is the number one risk factor. I want us to really learn these signs. Depression is very real, and people out there are suffering with depression, but they don't even know they have depression, or people don't believe they have depression. Someone is thinking you can't be depressed with all this weight gain, and yet you actually can. So we are going to go about this slowly by slowly. There are so many signs of depression, but for someone to be depressed, you must have at least 5 of the signs I'm going to mention. That means you should have 5 plus of the signs I'm going to mention. And these signs should have lasted for a period of more than 2 weeks. So if you have probably 1, 2 of the signs, or maybe you're just sad. Or if you have the signs that have lasted less than 2 weeks, maybe you're just grieving. The mood. So the mood is either sad, empty, or hopeless. Children usually never have a sad mood. With children, you'll find them very irritable. By irritable, what do I mean? They have maybe anger outbursts. They have exaggerated frustration to something very small, and their response is very exaggerated. So with children, you'll notice that you'll hardly find them sad or empty or hopeless, but they may be very irritable. With adolescents and adults, you'll find them sad, empty, hopeless. You have decreased interest in activities, decreased pleasure in activities. If you do not have a depressed mood, then you have decreased interest in activities. So at least one of these two should be among the signs in addition to other signs. Yeah. So what is the other sign of depression? It has something to do with weight. Well, someone could walk into a doctor's office depressed, but they have lost so much weight. They are not eating because they have a very depressed mood. Well, the next day another person could walk into the doctor's office and they have put on so much weight in a very short time, significant weight gain, but they're very depressed. They're eating so much because they're depressed. Usually with people who put on weight when they're depressed, for some reason they have a high craving for specific foods. And these foods are usually very rich in carbohydrates. It's usually craving for sweets, chocolates, and things that have very high carbohydrate content. So these people will put on a lot of weight because they're depressed. These are two very extremes of signs, but they can't all be signs of depression. They are all signs of depression. So don't think someone is not depressed because they're putting on so much weight. Don't think someone is so happy because they're putting on so much weight. Another sign of depression is to do with sleep. Some people sleep excessively when they're depressed. Other people can't sleep. They're looking for sleep, they can't sleep. They want to sleep, but they can't sleep because their mood is very low. Another sign of depression has to do with either psychomotor agitation or psychomotor retardation. What do I mean? Some people seem very agitated. They'll seem like they're anxious, can't sit still, they're pacing around, they're wrinkling their fingers, they're rubbing their skin all the time because, they're very depressed. So someone seems like they're just on the other end. They're extremely, anxious because they're depressed. Another person will be depressed and they instead have the very opposite. They have psychomotor retardation. they're just seated there, they're mute maybe, or if they speak, their speech is slowed, or maybe they have reduced volume, the volume and the tone of their voice is very low, as opposite to someone who is very agitated. So that is also something important to note. Another sign of depression is fatigue. Actually, so many people who are depressed feel fatigued. They have loss of energy. Another sign of depression is a feeling of worthlessness. Some people who are depressed have decreased ability to think or concentrate. So before someone was depressed, they had very good memory, they would concentrate, they were very good. And because now someone is depressed, they get, their memory becomes poor, they can't really concentrate, they're indecisive. Maybe if they're in school and they were very good with books, all of a sudden you notice a significant change in their grades because they're depressed. So the fact that they're depressed makes them unable to concentrate, unable to think straight, It affects their cognition, their thinking capacity. Like I said, depression is the leading cause of suicide worldwide. So suicidal ideations are also a sign of depression. Another sign of depression is having somatic complaints. Somatic means related to the body. So someone has complaints related to the body. So you feel maybe tired, you feel pain, you feel palpitations. I'm sure probably once some of you have gone to the hospital and you have pain. You actually have pain. Mpulira nnumizibwa, mpulira omubiri gunnuma, mpulira nkooye, ndabika nina malaria. And you think, mpulira entunnunsi, omutima gutyemuka, omutima gunkuba nnyo. And the doctor examines you and they say, but you're fine. And then the doctor goes ahead to ask you, are you okay? Is everything okay at home? Do you have anything stressing you? So, well, yeah. I'm here to tell you that sometimes you get these complaints related to the body. This is because you're depressed. Another sign of depression is increased irritability. Children don't usually have a depressed mode. They just have irritability. But adults can also have irritability. But today that is what I wanted us to know, the signs of depression. So next time I think I'll talk about the risk factors, the predisposing factors, the causes of depression, and we'll go on and on about this. Depression is very real, and if you think you're depressed, please see a psychiatrist. Thank you so much for listening. Don't forget to subscribe, don't forget to like, don't forget to share, don't forget to ask any questions. Thank you so much for listening. Bye.